an investigation into a wider plot?
Sean, thanks so much for having me. And because President Trump and the Attorney General have prioritized resources to this all-important investigation, we're dedicating every asset we have to run the reverse daisy chain analysis of anyone that was in contact with a suspect that's currently in custody and anyone he contacted, called, and text messaged and had chats on online social media platforms with. That's the power of the FBI. That's the resources we brought in immediately with our cell phone analytic team to use the cell phone tower data dump system to geolocate specifically where this cell phone was and who had it, and after that, who he was talking to. And Sean, let me tell you a little bit about the information we've collected. We've collected information where, through witness interviews from the FBI and local law enforcement, that he essentially admitted after the shooting and assassination of Charlie Kirk, the suspect admitted to it. Furthermore, the evidence and information will come out. I won't stylize the evidence. The Attorney General is absolutely right. We can't do that. But I will say what was found in terms of information, a text message exchange where the suspect specifically stated that he had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and he was going to do that. And when he was asked why, he said, "Some hatred cannot be negotiated with."
Whoa.
Yeah, you're also running.
Hold on. All right, hold on. Did I hear that right? I did step out for a little bit.
Information we've collected. We've collected information where, through witness interviews from the FBI and local law enforcement, that he essentially admitted after the shooting and assassination of Charlie Kirk, the suspect admitted to it. Furthermore, the evidence and information will come out. I won't stylize the evidence. The Attorney General is absolutely right. We can't do that. But I will say what was found in terms of information, a text message exchange where the suspect specifically stated that he had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and he was going to do that. And when he was asked why, he said, "Some hatred cannot be negotiated with."
Yeah, you're also running an investigation on what's called the Discord chat room, which has scores of people on it, and text between the suspect and the partner. Mm-hmm. I assume that those discussions are ongoing?
Absolutely. In order to properly adjudicate this matter and let law enforcement hand off information into evidence for a court of law for prosecution, we have to go out and get search warrants. We have to go out and get search warrants of the identifiers that were then built off of the prior search warrants. And we are doing that. And we are going to be interviewing scores of people on not just these chats on Discord, but any communications that this individual have. We've seized multiple electronic devices from the home of the suspect and his romantic partner. We've got computers, we've got laptops, we've got gaming systems, we've got cell phones. All of that is being triaged by the FBI because that's what we do. And the resources that the Attorney General has dedicated to this mission is allowing us to move at the speed we have. As you said, 33 hours. 33 hours, Sean, this individual was apprehended. And on the night...
Let me ask you, because 33 hours, and I did mention Luigi Mangione, and I did mention the Sonar brothers in the Boston bombing, and I did talk about the Centennial Park bomber, Eric Rudolph, and Ted Kaczynski. 33 hours, 2 hours after the video footage was enhanced and released, the suspect's father turned him in. And you got criticized for doing that, and I'm criticized for going out to the crime scene, and I'm having a hard time understanding what people's expectations are.
Sean, my expectation is deliver to the mission and the resources the men and women of the FBI need and to produce. And that's what we did here. When you're talking about things like going out to a crime scene, that's how you investigate that matter properly. And when you're talking about why did it take 33 hours, well, I made the operational decision to immediately release enhanced videos and photographs of the suspect because the operational call that I made for the FBI said, we are about to smoke this guy out, and his family and friends and his internal network is going to assist it. And this is the operation I want to highlight in terms of transparency. The FBI is traditionally an organization that has not been transparent. My mission to the American public, as I said in my confirmation here, I am going to work with you to make this organization as transparent as possible, including during investigations, so that we restore trust in the FBI and the integrity of the FBI that was jettisoned away by the fools that weaponized it. And when I said that, I meant it, and you saw it in action, and no one should be criticizing anyone but me if they got a problem with it. The men and women of the FBI handled this brilliantly. And as you said, Boston and the Luigi Mangione case happened in downtown metropolises with thousands of people around, and it still took them 5 days. So if you got a criticism, make a fair criticism and bring it to my feet. And I promise you the men and women of the FBI will respond like we did in this manhunt for Charlie Kirk's assassin.
Let me, to the extent you can talk about the possibility of.
Well, according to KASH PATEL, they're giving him unrealistic expectations. But like I said, he had to do a hearing today that he's at, most like right now, actually, in that he's getting grilled on about the specifics of this operation. And like I said, they're saying that he blundered it. And I'm going to go ahead and listen to it. I'm going to see what the arguments are.
Wider plot or other people's involvement in this. That would be a chilling scenario to me. John Solomon, who I'm pretty sure you know, had a piece out there about a radicalized group close to the area, up in the mountains. They seem to be very radical with the same agenda. Does that concern you, what you're seeing?
All of it concerns me, Sean, but I can't divulge every investigative step we're taking because I don't know. I don't want to disclose who we're going after and why we're going after them. Obviously, it's been leaked about this Discord chat, so we're going to discuss it a little bit. But what the FBI does is identify, catalog, and bring in experts. That's what we were doing. Round the clock, flying in people, evidence response teams, hostage rescue teams, special operators on our FBI planes, and transporting evidence back in real time from the crime scene in the West Coast to our labs in Quantico to address the situation of forensics immediately. And you highlighted the screwdriver that was found on top of the roof and the towel in which the firearm was found, the ravine that I walked myself along with the rooftop. I said, we cannot waste a second on this DNA analysis. And we were announced today on Fox that the DNA was a positive match for the suspect in question. That's hard forensics at work. That's your FBI moving at rocket speed to deliver transparency and information about an ongoing investigation. And we felt it appropriate for the American public to know this.
Well, you coming on this program, you are being...
All right, now let's go ahead and hear the left wing's perspective of it. And of course, at MSNBC, of course, they'd be the ones.
New today, former federal prosecutor Maureen Comey is suing the Trump administration over her abrupt firing earlier this summer. The complaint alleges that the administration has, quote, not provided any explanation whatsoever for terminating Ms. Comey. In truth, there is no legitimate explanation. Rather, defendants fired Ms. Comey solely or substantially because her father is former FBI Director James B. Comey, or because of her perceived political affiliation and beliefs, or both. Also today, FBI Director KASH PATEL is coming under fire for his handling of Charlie Kirk's killing, which he will certainly be questioned about tomorrow when he appears before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Joining us now, Anthony Coley, former director of the Office of Public Affairs at the Biden Justice Department, and an MSNBC political analyst. Ankush Kadori is still with us.
Okay, we've talked about Maureen Comey, so I want to talk about KASH PATEL, especially since he's going to be testifying before Congress. If you were able to sit down, ask him questions, what is it you would ask?
Oh, I've got a couple questions, but let me just start with this. Number one, he's a political hack. He is not qualified to run the FBI social media feed, much less be the FBI director. And why do I say this? Like, I oversaw public affairs at the Justice
Dang, bro, seething much?
Department, right? The social media team at the FBI, they know not to put out false information about a suspect that is not 1,000% confirmed, like KASH PATEL did last week, and he had to walk back, right? But I've been in the room with FBI directors, Alicia. It requires somebody who is sober. It requires independence. It requires an absolute commitment to facts and law. He's got none of those things. What am I looking for on the Hill right behind us? I want to hear what they have to say about domestic violence extremism. Why do I mention that? Because the former FBI director once said that this was said several times that domestic violent extremism is a persistent threat, is one of the highest things that he focused on. And under this administration, they shrunk the staffing in that office, and they got rid of the tool that the FBI agents use to track white supremacists and militias in this country. Also want to hear what they want to say about the Epstein files. Particularly, the FBI has all of the information about the money trail, right? This guy amassed, $600 million over the course of his time in office. He purportedly got this money because of tax advice and financial advice. I mean, this guy is not, H&R Block, right? So I want to find out more about how he amassed the money and how he used the money. We know that Jeffrey Epstein transported young girls from European country. What does the financial record say about all of that?
I'm weak. So you didn't really have nothing on KASH Patel, but just trying to say, oh, he's not good for the job. He's not competent. And then you're going to move right on to Epstein. I mean, dang, stick to the topic, Bree. Stick to the topic, bro. That's all we wanted to know is what your thoughts was on KASH Patel.
The paper trail is what I hope members of Congress ask the FBI director about Jeffrey Epstein tomorrow.
There's also a lawsuit. I hope they ask him about this lawsuit. This is an excerpt from the legal complaint against FBI Director KASH Patel, and it alleges that he knew summary firings were likely illegal. Pulled quote, Patel stated that all FBI employees who they identified who had worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs regardless of their retirement eligibility status. He then stated that Driscoll needed to understand that the FBI tried to put the president in jail, and he has not forgotten it. He again commented that he knew the nature of the summary firings were likely illegal and that he could be sued and later deposed. I feel like that's also something the senators, the folks might need to be asking about.
Yeah, well, I think, look, there are a lot of questions you could ask KASH Patel. He shouldn't be in this job. So number one, why are you still here is a pretty good question. Right. Why are you still here? All
right, they ain't got nothing good without explaining anything. Hopefully he explains something. If he ain't explaining nothing, I'm moving on.
Has overseen a reconfiguration of the Bureau that has been very damaging. And I think, Anthony, you alluded to this too. They have shrunk the Bureau, and they have reallocated resources away from a whole swaths of federal law enforcement apparatus that are very important, not just for threats concerning domestic violence and domestic extremism, but also malign foreign influences, financial fraud. They have this notion that, we're just going to focus on the FBI's quote unquote core mission, which is fighting violent crime, which to them seems to be just enforcing the statutes on illegal immigration and whatever they find in the way of drugs and guns at the same time. He has overseen a strategic reorientation of this Bureau that has been quite damaging. I think we're only now going to start seeing the ramifications of that. One question I have for him, though, is just a sort of an interesting personal one to me, because we have him out here talking about all sorts of things going on with this investigation, purporting to relay all these facts. This is the same person who already had to debunk himself on the Jeffrey Epstein files earlier this year, right? That was in July. Yeah. Okay, this was not that long ago. So this is not someone who should be speaking publicly about anything of any complexity, in my estimation, and not someone who has amassed any sort of credibility with the public that would allow him to be offering those sorts of comments.
Stop playing the FBI director.
And by the way, who goes on Fox and Friends in the morning to announce developments in a major federal criminal investigation? It's nuts.
You do, to the extent that you want to show the one person who's watching Fox.
Let's be honest. If he took too slow to do this, you guys would have said, he's not fast enough. But because he did it in quick fashion, now you're saying, why'd he do it so quickly? It's like, trust me, he wouldn't have won anyway he did it.
That you are doing what they want you to do or what he wants you to do. And at the end of the day, I guess in many respects, it almost doesn't matter what happens in that hearing room tomorrow. Right?
I agree. Go ahead.
It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, Republicans are either going to slather him with whatever they can slather him with, while Democrats are going to chip away at the very questions that you're asking, and the country's going to sit there and go, "What's the point of this?"
We're not all of these things about him when he came in, that he was ill-equipped.
It matters that he lies under oath. I think it matters. He lied under the oath the last time he was there. You know what? We still in America.
It matters to whom?
I think it should matter to the senators on that dais. I think it matters to the law, and it matters to me.
The senators on that dais are going to do when tonight only one Republican voted against Mirren.
So I think you're missing a piece of this, and then I will kick it over to you, which is I think you're missing the reporting that Bondi and Bovee are both saying they have lost confidence in him. My point is there are fractures.
Can I ask you a question? Has Donald Trump expressed he's lost confidence in him?
Not yet, but let me weigh
No.
in here. So I know a piece when I see it.
Y'all know how this.
No, but here's the problem. You guys just kind of look for something to hate about this man, KASH Patel. That's the problem with you guys. It's like I said, it's like you're really seething to paint this guy as just, I guess, the worst FBI director in history, the most incompetent, when that's not true at all. I mean, trust me, we had worse FBI directors. I mean, shoot, we even had one that was basically in a dress, allegedly. But I do want to pop in here on this. Let's see here. KASH Patel testifies. Let's see if we can tune in on this one.
And I'm assuming that Mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration.
No, you're wrong.
Okay. I'd like to revisit another subject from that hearing. Did you testify? Excuse me. You did testify before the grand jury that President Trump had declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Is that correct?
I don't have the grand jury transcript. That's why I released it. Whatever it says is the best evidence.
That's what you said to Senator Whitehouse, that your grand jury testimony was publicly released. It has not been. In fact,
and shout out to my man Ham. He says, "You think KASH Patel handled Epstein well?" Well, not really. I mean, when it comes to this list, not really. Him and Pam Bondi both kind of effed that up. They gave expectations they could not deliver on. And now it's kind of funny how it's up to Massey and Conahey to just kind of pave the way to get transparency. It's effed up, but at least it's a bipartisan effort, at least.
in July, a court denied a news outlet's bid to get that transcript. But the court said quite clearly that you are free to discuss your grand jury testimony. So I ask you again, did you testify before the grand jury that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified document case?
And that is why I took your invitation to work with the department and the court to have that transcript released. And the transcript is the best evidence of what I said then.
So you're saying right now this committee can have access to what you said before the grand jury?
To whatever was released. Under my understanding, Senator,
So
that the Department of
hold on.
Justice
You and I both
released.
understand the law. Let me finish. I understand under Rule 6 of the Federal Rules of Procedure, a grand jury witness, in this case you, is not barred from sharing their grand jury testimony. This is an oversight hearing. This is germane to your integrity and credibility. You know right now whether or not you testified that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Why are you refusing to answer that simple yes or no question right now?
Because the premise of your question is inaccurate. And
There is no premise to my question, but trying to get to an order of what is true or not.
How do you How do you know what was asked in the grand jury if you weren't there?
Mr. Patel, this is a mockery you're making of this hearing and simple questions.
It's a simple question. If you have
Mr.
a
Patel,
transcript,
during
you can
your
read the question,
nomination
but you don't have it.
you promised that, quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. When I asked you, are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with the Trump administration, you explicitly said under oath that you were not aware of any plans to punish FBI agents associated with criminal investigations of Donald Trump. I don't believe you were truthful. Firing FBI employees based solely on the cases that they are investigating, their case assignments, is illegal, and you know that. A new lawsuit that's been discussed numerous times, filed by 3 FBI officials, alleges that you carried out Donald Trump's campaign of retribution, in quotes, against FBI employees for, quote, failure to demonstrate sufficient political loyalty. One of those plaintiffs has been discussed today, Brian Driscoll. Now, we know 20 years of distinguished service to the FBI before you terminated him. Special agent in charge of FBI's Newark field office, where he operated with distinction. Medal of Valor winner, Shield of Bravery awards. He's a patriot. You terminated Driscoll via a letter dated October 8th, 2025. And in that letter, you said that you were firing him pursuant to Article 2 of the Constitution. Well, you're not the President of the United States. And so I'm wondering under what authority you were allowed to terminate him.
That matter is under litigation, and I'm not able to discuss it.
Okay, well, discuss this. Did you have discussions with Stephen Miller about firing this particular person, or about his continuance in the FBI?
Not that I recall.
How often do you speak to Stephen Miller?
Frequently on our Homeland Security task forces.
You frequently talk with Stephen Miller about subjects other than Homeland Security Task Force issues, correct?
I frequently talk to Mr. Miller about Homeland Security task forces.
Has Stephen Miller ever given you his opinions on how to run your agency?
Mr. Miller's interagency operations are invaluable to the FBI. That's what we talk about.
So you frequently discuss your job and your responsibilities with Stephen Miller and Pam Bondi, I imagine, as well.
Absolutely. She's the Attorney General.
Understood. Okay. Donald Trump promised to make us all safer. You have pushed out senior FBI agents with decades of knowledge and experience. In fact, this is the first time in FBI history that neither the director nor the deputy director have any experience with the FBI. You've shifted the agency's priorities primarily to pursuing Donald Trump's immigration enforcement agenda. According to ICE data, the Cato Institute, which is a conservative think tank, found that 20% of all agents have been diverted from their work to assist ICE immigration enforcement. 20%. Part of this operation is the work of mass law enforcement who jump out of cars, snatch people off streets at churches, schools, and their jobs and hospitals.
I'm weak. So you're complaining about ICE to the director of the FBI is crazy. I mean, you go ahead and grab Christy Gnomes if that's what you want. But all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and head out on this one. I'll be back later on today for another live. All right, guys, let's make sure you double tap that screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel while you're at it. And don't worry, I'll be releasing clips throughout the day before I hop on live again. So make sure you guys catch those. And if you can, send a super thanks. Appreciate the support, guys. This is Set with Set Media, and I'll catch you guys, well, later on today. Peace out, guys. Stay safe. Guys, today modern AI is quite advanced, except two problems. It is